Howdy folks, why am I always at the bottom of the screen? How's the sound? And I'm very sorry, but I'm so hot. I've not done much work lately because it's so friggin' hot. I'm just so exhausted. I'm like, melting away. I can't do anything at all. Literally. Okay. So yeah, how is everyone and how's the sound? You're a loud fan. Oh, I knew that would happen. Forget to turn it off because I'm so used to having it on all day. Oh, turn it off. It's a very sensitive touch buttons. It's a good fan though. Actually, I have two fans. I have two fans now. That's how desperate I've got. I've literally got two fans on my desktop going shh. Oh, because it's just too much. It's too much for my white pale skin to handle. Liz Rimsey, I've been in my pants all day eating fruit. That's the summer experience. Kirst, I've been a baked potato all day. Aw. Dawn, how are you, Jambareeqi? Besides being boiling hot, I'm great. If the heat would just shut the hell up, I'd be happy. Things are going great, but like the weather's like, screw you. Raj, I agree, I'm extremely hot, though I hit the beach yesterday in Chroma. I'd love to go to the beach in this heat. But the nearest beach to me is like 2 hours away. Because I live in like the middle of the country, technically. I live in the north, but like in the middle of the north. So yeah, I have to take a 2-hour train to get to the nearest beach, which is very frustrating. And Viva sometimes winds me up because there's a beach outside her window. I'm like, Computer guys, sadly after 5 days of rain, it's sunny and hot again here too. Oh, I miss rain. Apparently it's going to be really rainy in England though this week. Apparently it's going to be like thunderstorms and all that kind of jazz. So I'm down for that. Anything but heat. Because the thing is, I don't like the cold either. But at least with the cold, you can adapt, you can survive quite easily. Just wear as much as you can or put on a bunch of blankets. Easily warm yourself up and you'll be fine. But the heat, it doesn't matter how much you take off. The sun's going to constantly say, no, I want you to go down to your skeleton right now. You burn. So, yeah. Everyone's pretty much hot, bless. Don't believe this morning I saw America the Motion Picture on Netflix. How is it? I didn't really know much about it. I just knew it was coming out. Cursed, I can't wait for the weekend when it starts raining heavily. Yeah, it's going to rain quite heavily in Sheffield this weekend as well. Looking so forward to that. I might just stand outside all day. I really might. The other day I had like a freezing cold bath. And like one part was like, this is a terrible idea. Another part was like, but it's the greatest feeling in the world. It was like so cold. And if I had an ice machine, I would actually put ice in there as well. I was that desperate. I want to get an ice cube tray the next time I get paid, because like I've realized how much putting ice in drinks has helped me. Listen, I live 10 minutes from the beach, but I'm agoraphobic, annoying. Oh, bless. Don't blue. Even I can't stand the heat, and I have dark skin. Bless. Computer guy. Oh no, it's way easier to warm up than to cool down. Cold for the win. Yeah, cold sucks. Cold is horrible, but at least you can find ways around it. Dawn, it wasn't good. It felt like an Adult Swim special. Check out Animat's review. Yeah, it kind of looked like an Adult Swim kind of show. Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons I was kind of like, I don't know. Because a lot of adult animated films, their whole shtick is, we're a cartoon for grown-ups, and we're a cartoon for grown-ups because we swear a lot and everyone gets killed a lot, and that's the whole shtick. And I'm like, that's so many of adult animated films. Not all, but most. Have you ever mistaken the hot tap for the cold tap? Probably once or twice, knowing me. Warrior, I love putting ice in my drinks. Especially iced coffee is the greatest thing in the entire world. So good. That's what I've been living off of. But the only way I can make ice right now, because I don't have an ice cube tray, is I put water in a cup or a bowl, and I leave it for a few hours, and I come back and it's just a slab of ice, and I just start stabbing it and just take bits of ice and drop it in my drink. The other day I got a bowl and like froze water in the bowl, and I just drank from it as it melted. I was like, this is heaven! Why is it? Jojo, I live near Epsom. Epsom's where my mum was born actually. Interesting. So part of my accent is kind of like Epsom. I got a lot of my accent from her. Don't believe the only thing I laughed at was the ending. Oh, you mean American Motion Picture? Ooh, that's not a good sign. Don't believe. Ralph Bakshi films had more respect. It had that kind of Bakshi look to it. And this is a really obvious comparison, but it looked like American pop. It did. Computer Guy, have you tried taking a very warm bath or drink something very warm? You'll feel cool afterwards. It works for me. Warm? Having something warm, does it work? It's worked more when I've just had something that's frozen or cold. Evan, so you don't even put the water in the freezer? I do. I fill up a glass of. I get a glass. I put water in the glass. Put it in the freezer for a couple of hours, not for too long, because if you leave it for too long, you can end up like creating cracks. So you've got to time it perfectly. Liz Rimsey, it's funny how iced coffee tastes great, but hot coffee that's gone cold tastes foul. I like cold coffee. I kind of like coming to a coffee that I've left for a bit and it's a little cold. But that's me. I'm weird. Kirst, that's why I like adult animation like Vizzy Pop's work, because she has this strange mix of cynicism and sincerity to work that I absolutely love. And it's hard to find that balance as well. It really is. And there's a lot of adult animated work that will completely embrace the edginess of their comedy and the mean spirit of their comedy, and then halfway through, out of nowhere, they're like, actually, we've got a message. Actually, these characters, they do love each other, even though they've been complete toxic dicks to each other for the entire story. So, yeah. Don Blue, I'm excited to see Paw Patrol the movie coming soon. Yeah, I heard that's coming out. I think there was a Paw Patrol superhero special that came out in cinemas as well at one point recently. Here we go. Yes, compared to the warmth of the drink or the bath, the air will feel cooler for a while. I'm gonna try it, but I'm very sensitive to anything that's not cold right now. Could we do it? I could watch a whole hour of Jambareeqi complains about the heat. I could do a whole documentary on why the heat is a terrible thing. Just condemning the sun. An expose on the sun. He's doing this on purpose. Malicious intent. Conspiracy. Raj, is anyone excited to see Hotel Transylvania 4? I don't know what to make of it so far, because like the only shtick seems to be, hey, it's the monsters as humans, and that's it. I don't know what they're gonna do for the whole film with that. Yeah, Brian Hall is the only reason I'm kind of like, yeah, I'd see it to support Brian Hall, so Brian Hall gets more voice work. Jojo, have you played Night in the Woods? No, I'm afraid not. Don Blue, I don't drink coffee, I drink hot chocolate. I used to be the same, but once I got older, coffee became life. Right, let's get on with the topic of this stream. spent 10 minutes complaining about the bloody sun. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Dreamworks songs. So a few things before I begin. No, I will not be counting cover songs, because it just doesn't seem right to say, well done Dreamworks, you took someone else's song and put it in your film, well done. It's like, yeah, so I would prefer to commend and reward songs that Dreamworks themselves came up with. And it was pretty difficult to work out which ones they did and which ones were kind of like jukebox choices. But I've listened to pretty much all of them at this point. To narrow down my top 5. And another thing, there won't be any songs from Croods 2, Boss Baby 2, or Trolls 2, because I've not seen any of them. I didn't want to just listen to the songs from the films. I need to see the films to get what the songs are about. Almost been on my drink. Listy Rimsey. Jambareeqi's top 5 temperatures. I think the best is just fine. Just room temperature will be 1. just don't go to extreme on either side. Just be normal. Computer Guy, too bad. Holding Out for a Hero was awesome in Shrek 2. Yeah, there's a lot of songs that are like tied to the DreamWorks animation identity, and like a lot of people remember those songs from the DreamWorks films, but it just didn't feel right crediting DreamWorks for them. Yeah, it's hard to go like, oh, that classic DreamWorks song, Kung Fu Fighting. It's just like, no, that's not their song. So yeah. Curse, this is going to be hard because most of the DreamWorks music catalog is just popular songs. Actually, more than you think. There's actually more than you think that's original songs. A lot of them are background songs. Quite a lot. I say like the kind of like early days were more, there were more musicals in the early days of DreamWorks. So I found a lot of the musical numbers from the early days, and then as years went on, they started to have more kind of like background songs that were related to the story, kind of like Phil Collins kind of style. So I'm counting those as well. I'm counting songs where characters sing, and there's a song in the background that was made specifically for the film. So both of those. It was very, very, very hard though. So hard, because there's a lot of great songs for DreamWorks films. Really, really tricky. Okay, so let's get the ball rolling. So, top 5 DreamWorks songs. My number 5 is "It's Tough to Be a God" from The Road to El Dorado. There were a lot of high contenders from the Road to El Dorado, but I felt like "It's Tough to Be a God" is the best of the bunch. It's the only song that's actually performed by our main characters, and the lyrics pretty much sum up the film in a nutshell. Not only does it reflect the stakes at hand and what our heroes have to pull off, but it's also a great celebration of Tulio and Miguel's friendship as they joyfully share the same sense of excitement. Even though Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh are mainly talk singing, they bring so much charismatic personality to the song, all while being backed by Elton John's fun musical rhythms and a colourful party backdrop. Oh, and yes, it's really, really, really catchy, with a chorus that'll be tattooed on your brain for days. So yeah, what does everyone else think of "It's Tough to Be a God"? Raj, yes, I'm counting down just original songs, no cover songs. Cupidoo, All Star was made for Mystery Men, but it's associated with Shrek. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. There's quite a lot of songs that have that kind of reputation. But yeah, any thoughts on it? It's Tough to Be a God. Warrior, a good movie, never seen it. Watch it, it's great, it's great. The more times I've watched it, the more I've come to appreciate it. Don't watch my review on it, because it's shit. Computer Guy, oh, that one is an earworm. It won't leave my head for you. Like I said, it'll leave a tattoo on your head, your brain. Nick, unfortunately, I haven't seen The Road to El Dorado, nor have I heard the song. Again, check it out. Check it out, and listen to the song. It's a great song. Don, it's good, but personally not my favourite. Trust me, it was so tricky to narrow down, to kind of like kick out a couple of like Road to El Dorado songs, because I'm a huge, massive Elton John fan, and all his songs for Road to El Dorado are amazing. They're really damn good, and they sting your mind. And I've been learning to sing with my composer Karan lately, and the song we've been using as reference is The Trail We Blaze. So trust me, I love all the songs. It just came down to this one being my favorite. Lister Rimsey, Talksing gets a lot of flack, but I think it works for some songs / characters. Look at Rex Harrison. It works for this song as well. It really does, because it's such a character-driven song. And it's a comedic song as well. I feel like talk singing works best for comedic songs. Because I hear that I hear that a lot of like music experts say that Weird Al is not a good singer, but he's a great comedian. We got a very great song that evolves the more two characters drink and sorry, I'm reading that so badly. A very great song that evolves the more the two characters drink and smoke. Wow, I just noticed the movie got away with that. Yeah, ooh. Is it a U or a PG? I can't remember. Evan, what do you think of Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh's vocals? Like I said before, I think they do a really good job with the talk singing in bringing the character. They played the characters. They played the characters for the song. That's what is most important for a musical number. It doesn't matter whether you're talk singing or melody singing. It doesn't matter. You've got to bring the characters of the song, or it's just a song. Jojo, fun fact: Kenneth Branagh was the narrator of in Walking with Dinosaurs in 1999. I definitely buy that. Yeah. Kirst, I can see why Billy Elliot is my favourite musical, because it has that Elton John's brilliant bouncy melodies to sing along to. Yeah, Elton's really good at like fun, catchy songs, but he's also very good at very emotional songs. Think of like Your Song and stuff like that. Don't believe the begging song is catchy. I can't believe Elton and Tim got involved with this after creating the songs for Lion King. Well, it's important to remember that Jeffrey Katzenberg was working at Disney when they made the Lion King. So I think what happened was that Jeffrey kind of got a bit chummy with Elton and Tim and was like, come on, come help with my El Dorado movie. Guy. Then again, it got away with a lot of stuff. I think it was PG. I feel like it's... I can't remember if it's U or PG in the UK. I can't remember. So yeah, any other thoughts on It's Tough to Be a God? Any at all that you want to add to the conversation? And are you already singing it to yourselves? Don Blue. Yeah, true, Jeffrey was really wanting revenge. Yes, one of many reasons I don't like Jeff. He's very malicious person. So yeah, any other thoughts on It's Tough to Be a God before I move on to my number 4? Any at all that you want to throw in? Why it's tough to be a God. Computer Guy, the colours, the craziness, the vocals, it's an awesome song. Yeah, I do feel like a lot of its appeal does come from the animation and like how it transforms and like flashes and goes into all these different color schemes and all these different palettes, and how the imagery kind of like goes really well with the lyrics, really damn well in both tone and relevance. It's tough to be a god. Okay, so I think that's as much as people want to say about It's Tough to Be a God, I guess. Let's move on to my number 4. What's my number 4? My number 4 is For the Dancing and Dreaming from How to Train Your Dragon 2. What I love about this song is that it's this genuine romantic moment between a reunited couple. It starts off as tender and sensitive, as a confident stoic tries to reconnect with his wife. Then it gradually grows into a cheerful romp that inspires dance and laughter. It's not a big show number or anything glamorous. It's a very human scene that sees old lovers finding that spark again, all while their son watches in excitement as his parents fall in love once again. Yeah, and it also plays very naturally into a film that's not really a musical, because it's written as a song that's part of these Vikings culture, as well as a folksy sing-along for this husband and wife couple to nostalgically reminisce over. So yeah, what does everyone think of For the Dancing and the Dreaming? That was wrong. Click the wrong thing. War Eagle. I saw this movie in cinema, didn't like it, but the song was okay. Don, need to see this movie. Anyone that has seen How to Train Your Dragon 2 that enjoyed the song? Computer Guy, it made me emotional when I first saw the film. Aw. Evan, I really enjoyed the movie, but I don't remember the song. The franchise is not known for its music. I think when it comes to music, a lot of people think of... I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this name, even though I'm part Icelandic. Jónsi. His songs are very memorable, particularly with like the How to Train Your Dragon 3 credits. Raj, I'm going to try and rewatch all the Dreamworks movies. Go for it. Go for it. I had to do that before when I did my top 5 best and worst video on them. Let's go through them all. The next top 5 I'm doing is actually on the animated Nickelodeon films, so I'm going through all those now. Listeners, I can't remember it either, sorry. Don't worry about it. If you've got no comment, then don't worry about it. Never feel like you're obligated to say something. I just like to give people in chat a chance to chip in, because that's the appeal of a live countdown, is that it's more audience interactive, and it's like you become part of the countdown. Like, you can say what you think of the songs as well, but you don't have to. You don't ever have to. Guy, it's the love song between Stoic and Valka, if you're wondering. Yes, it is, yeah. And It's Tough to Be a God is still in my head. It's that catchy. Nick, I can confidently say that this song works. It may not be a big number, but what makes it work is that it helps you make you feel the satisfaction of the reunion of Stoic and Valka. Yes. Kirst, Jonesy, I think is how you pronounce it, though it could be Jonesy. That's why I'm a bit, it could be Jonesy, it could be Jonesy. I really need to learn Icelandic. But I'm not good at learning languages. I'm really not. And like I've dated foreign people before, and they've taught me their language, and they've drilled it into me for ages, and then it's just gone. Like the next day, it's just all gone. I'm so bad at learning languages. I want to learn at least one foreign language. At least one. War Eagle, watch the Eurovision movie to learn Icelandic. I could just learn Icelandic, I guess. And there are a couple of Icelandic films I really want to see. There's a fairy tale movie, there's a fairy tale movie based on Brothers Grimm starring Bjork that I really want to watch. Nick, How to Train Your Dragon is definitely one of Dreamworks' finest efforts, and this song is a good example of its many strengths. I'm guessing no one else has got anything to add to this song, since I went off on a tangent about language. Okay, so what is my number 3? What is my number 3 of my top 5 Dreamworks songs? It is You're Playing With the Big Boys Now from the Prince of Egypt. So many Prince of Egypt songs could have made it onto my list. So those ones the ones that did, they're special to me. This villain number was always stuck. This villain number always stuck out to me from the film. It's such a theatrical spectacle that's full of mystery, danger, and intrigue. The sinister orchestral music, creepy lighting, and threatening atmosphere make this a captivating villain song. I also like how Dreamworks let Martin Short and Steve Martin do the singing voices for the characters. These two comedians are the last people you'd think of for pulling off a scary villain song, but they do fantastic jobs performing the dark lyrics, and they sound legitimately intimidating. I really appreciate that Dreamworks gave them this chance, because most studios would tug their collars at such a risky creative decision. So yeah, it's awesome. It's great. What does everyone think of You're Playing with the Big Boys Now? Kapuga, the trick is to read and watch stuff in that language. That's how I learned English and German. Yes, I should have asked you for advice, Computer Guy, seeing as, like, you're multilingual. Evan, it's kind of unique that the bad guy's henchman sings the song instead of the villain himself. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, yeah. And I kind of wish that more films did that. Especially if, like, I'd kind of like if it was both. Like, early in the film, the henchmen get their own song, and then later in the film, the main villain gets their song. It kind of builds it up. I'd like that more often. So yeah, good point. Kirst, have you considered learning sign language? I'm interested in learning it. I have been learning sign language, but again, it just out of my head. I've taken so many online lessons, and they're just gone. They go! I don't know what's with my brain. My brain remembers the dumbest things, the most useless trivia, but when it's given something, useful, it's like, Cupid Guy, ooh, that song gives me goosebumps. I would have gone with The Plagues, but this one is pretty good too. It made these two idiots scarier. Kurtz, probably the best cover of the song is the metal cover by Caleb Hiles. Yes, I love that cover. Jonathan Young and Lee Albrecht. Yeah, I love their cover songs in general, but that is one of my favourites that they've done. It's so good. So damn good. Don Blue, what I like about this song is how it starts by going quiet, and Hotep and Hoed start calling on their gods, indicating that it's a spiritual fight, God versus gods, in my opinion. Yeah, that is a good point. It is a fight. It's a fight. And the fight is mainly done through spectacle and lyrics. And that's so perfect for a musical number. I don't think this scene could have been done in the way they wanted if it wasn't as a musical number. Big guy. It also shows how the priest manipulates people by using smoke and mirrors. Yes, which is what a theatrical musical number is. It's all smokes and mirrors. It's an illusion. It's a big show. So yeah, I feel like it was so important to have that. Evan, I'd say that the priests are more evil and malicious than Ramesses. Yes, definitely, yeah. Kubadoo, The Prince of Egypt was one of those movies that took a while for me to appreciate, but even then this song was always very intimidating. It's quite dark, and I can imagine some kids being frightened by it. Very young, sensitive kids being frightened by it. Nick, first of all, Prince of Egypt is my #1 favourite Dreamworks movie, and as for the song, aside from how creepy and sinister the song sounds, what really makes it stand out is the fact that it's been sung by the film's comic relief, and the comic relief is voiced by two comedians who are primarily not known for silly antics. Steve Martin and Martin Short really upped their game working on this. Yeah, exactly what I said before. Exactly what I said before is that I really respect the film for going, you know what, we've cast these comedians as our villain's henchmen, and now we want to give them a villain number, and it's going to be a scary one. I feel like that takes guts. I really do. Computer Guy, Jonathan and Caleb Hyles are so good at covers. They really are. I love their work. I really do. Yes, any other thoughts on You're Playing with the Big Boys Now from Prince of Egypt, which I've marked at #3. Computer Guy, I wonder if it doesn't make the song scarier since these priests were seen as funny before. I think it works because it turns the table on what you thought these henchmen could be and what their personalities are, and I think that's a great sign of a villain as well, as the idea that they can put on this mask of like, we're just playing around, but really when we when we take off our masks, there's something more sinister there. I like that, and I feel like Steve and Martin do great at that. Warrior, Martin Short was also in Barbie movie, I think. Yes, he was. And he was amazing. Preminger, so good. Me and Viva are going to be doing the Barbie movies for the next Film Chums, and I'm looking forward to watching Prince and the Pauper again, because I really love that film. Don't believe the priests were funny, but at the same time evil and deceive Ramesses. Yeah. There's that duality there, and I feel like it is very hard to find a character that can be both comical and creepy. Okay, I feel like that's as much as we can really say about You're Playing with the Big Boys Now. So, what's my #2? My #2 is The Plagues from The Prince of Egypt. Yes, another Prince of Egypt song. I never established at the beginning of the stream that the rule was one song from each film, so this is cool. Yeah, so this is one of the darkest musical numbers ever put to animated screen. It's a truly nightmarish and tragic song that oozes apocalyptic horror. It's also a number that encapsulates the movie's themes of duality and brotherly conflict. There's a powerful levity to the whole song because we're listening to these opposing forces clash through their dramatic singing. The society is crumbling under God's wrath, yet the film keeps the emotions locked onto these two siblings' rivalry because that's the heart of this fight for freedom. From Moses lamenting on the brutality of God's punishment as he wishes his brother didn't bring things to this stage, to Ramesses stubbornly refusing to bow down to God's demands. It's a song that earns its large cinematic scale while also using its operatic storytelling to dive into the brothers' souls. It's unforgiving but also incredibly immersive. So yeah, what does everyone think of The Plagues from The Prince of Egypt at my #2? It's probably the best song I've seen in an animated movie. It's big, it's scary, it's tragic. Yeah, there's so many emotions. So many emotions. And I feel like that's a great example of a brilliant musical number, is when you can go through so many beats in those few minutes. And it never feels rushed. You feel like all those emotions need to be there throughout the entire song. List rooms here. I would probably have all of my top 5 from that film, so I can't complain. It's a great song. I was tempted, trust me, I was tempted to have most of my songs be from Prince of Egypt. They're all really, really good. Computer Guy, and I like the other. The cover by Young and Hiles is amazing. It is, yeah. Evan, I agree with you, but I think Playing with the Big Boys Now is more memorable. Cuba so many layers to the song. Moses doesn't like God's punishment, but knows that it must be done because his brother won't listen to reason. Exactly, yeah. is troubling. He's being emotionally tormented. He's not like, yeah, take that, Ramses. He's literally being torn apart as he's watching all this suffering. And you don't get that usually in a lot of musical numbers, especially these kinds, where it's more like black and white and on a surface level where it's like, the hero's winning, yay! No, this is the hero's winning but also losing, and it's really tragic. Don't believe it. When I saw this scene when the song played, I felt bad for the people who were suffering, and even Moses didn't want to see it happen because Egypt was his home. Yeah, and it's not just the fact that Egypt is his home, he's also a really compassionate man who cares about humanity. So yeah, any other thoughts on the plagues from the Prince of Egypt before I reveal my #1 favourite song? Non-blue. As a Christian, the plague scene was better than the live-action Ten Commandments blue lighting. I've not seen Ten Commandments. Good guy. And seeing the Egyptian Empire crumble under the being's wrath is terrifying yet amazing to watch. It is. It's both. You're watching this very horrifying images, but also kind of like taken back by how much effort went to the animation to destroy the city. So it's like Kubidu said, there are so many layers to this song, both visually, musically, vocally, and can I just say, Ralph Fiennes is a really amazing singer. Who would have thought that Voldemort can actually belt it? It's amazing how well he sings. Because Val Kilmer has a singing double, but Rafe was like, nope, I'll do it. I'll sing it. And like I didn't, because like the thing with Rafe's voice is it's very delicate, very soft, very gentle, and like he's got a lot of politeness to his voice. So to imagine him voicing not only the villain, but a villain that has to like really give it his all is quite commendable. Computer guy, Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments. I really should watch this film. It's one of the classics. I've not seen it, I'm afraid. Cursed. I was most blown away by Ralph Fiennes singing because he keeps that gravitas that he had when he was just voicing Ramesses. Another thing I love is the brilliant cinematography. It's spectacular cinematography. It's like if you wanted to give a lesson to animation students, like, look, animation doesn't just have to be like a stock image. You can just expand it, and you can play with the camera, and like your set could be as big as you want. I feel like the Plague's a good example of that. Computer and the animation, by God, that animation, Dreamworks really pushed itself with this film. They did, and it makes you miss the hand-drawn work even more. Really does. No, but what I like and found funny was Ramesses was blue and Moses was red, looking like a soccer game. I never realised that. It does have that kind of image. Makes me imagine Ramesses and Moses having a football game as God's wrath is happening. Evans J. Sims, the animation is why I want the Prince of Egypt on Blu-ray. Oh, I'd love it on Blu-ray. That'd be really rewarding on Blu-ray. So yeah, I think that's everything people want to say about. Oh, did I miss something? Oh, I think I missed Nick's point. Nick says the Plagues is a mix between being very dark and heavy tuned as well as a perfect representation of the film's drama. The lyrics backed up with the spectacular imagery really sucks you in, especially the shots with Moses on the right side of the screen and with red lighting and Ramesses on the left with blue lighting. Yes, absolutely. Listeners, the Two Faces thing looks like a boxing match, bro. It really there's such a sports aesthetic to the scene, but it works because it's a conflict. It's a conflict, and I wouldn't be surprised if the filmmakers were like taking inspiration from sports presentation, because look at that. Yeah, that looks like a boxing match, but it is. It's almost like a philosophical boxing match. It's an ethical boxing match. So sometimes you can take inspiration from the strangest of places and make it work. So yeah. Lister Room is not even funny. I want to see a parody based on that scene. Give a guy. Then again, Dreamworks started with CG films. Hand-drawn was not their core, but they really should consider coming back to it. Yeah, they started with ants, and then they went on a string of like hand-drawn stuff, and then they started mixing it, and then they went full CG. So, I wonder why they made Moses red, though. Red isn't a positive colour, usually. it's boiling hot, and I'm having to use my degree to like try and work out what the red and blue would mean. Do the best I can. I think one way of looking at it is possibly the fact that Moses has the upper hand, and red signals like a fiery energy, like a rage, and that's what God's wrath is going upon. And you've got Ramesses, who's been stubborn, who's been cold, blue. That's the best I can do while being boiling hot. I'm glad I was never asked to do an animation essay while at uni while boiling hot. Right. Okay, so what is my number one? I'm gonna let you all guess. I'll let you all guess. What do you think my number one could be? What could be my favourite Dreamworks song? And keep in mind that I'm not counting cover songs, but I am counting both background songs and musical numbers. Nick, maybe the blue is the bleak and dark side, while the red is the warm and pleasant side. Technically, could be. Evan, Kung Fu Fighting is not from Kung Fu Panda. It's technically a cover song. Holding Out for Hero is a cover song as well. Yeah, like I said, no cover songs. It's not going to be a cover song. Only original Dreamworks songs. Songs that were made especially for the films. Listy, I think that Hebrew people were generally represented with warm tones. Orange, red, brown. Yeah. Don't believe Deliver Us. Another Prince of Egypt song. Would I really push it that far? Cooper-Doo, the Captain Underpants theme song, which is awesome. I keep listening to that constantly sometimes. And that's another earworm, like It's Tough to Be a God. Guy background song, maybe something from Kung Fu Panda. The Kung Fu Panda doesn't really have many background songs as far as I worked out. Maybe one or two. Joe All Star, that's not an original song, that's a cover song. These movie soundtracks were great too. Yeah, they were great. They were great jukebox soundtrack. I think that's one of the strengths of Dreamworks, is their ability to put together a jukebox soundtrack. But again, I want to give credit to their songs that they came up with themselves. Nick, All Star is technically a cover song, but it probably wasn't made specifically for Shrek. Yeah, it was. I can't remember. I don't think it was made for Mystery Man or not. Cooper-Doo, Accidentally in Love. I think that's technically just like that's an existing song. It has to be a song that's made for the film. I Like to Move It as an existing song as well. Everyone's guesses so far has been like sample tracks or cover tracks. Don't Believe, Don't Worry About. I think that's an existing track. That's a Don't Believe. Did I actually call it a Don't Believe song? It's a Bob Marley song. The song I chose for my number one is It Is You I've Loved from the Shrek films. Once I knew I'd be doing this top 5 topic, I knew deep down that this song would be my number one. I'd say it's one of the most underrated aspects of the Shrek franchise. And out of all the songs that DreamWorks has produced themselves, it's the one I listen to the most. It's this beautiful and ethereal song. And you hear it for the first time in the end credits of Shrek. Yes, another excuse for me to highlight how great some end credit songs are in films. But at the same time, it's instrumental, is sometimes used for scenes with Fiona. Because it's a song that was designed to be the theme for Princess Fiona. And I think Dana Glover, the singer of the song, really reflects that through her poetic lyrics. Because it's all about her connection to Shrek and how he changed her life. Everything about this song is romantic to me. Everything. It's just bursting with the purest of feelings that come with falling in love. Heck, if I ever get married, I want this to be my wedding song. No, really. Who wouldn't want their first dance to be with this track? It's gorgeous. It really is. There's also this enchanting fairy tale atmosphere to the whole song. It's like a mix between gentle new age and 80s romantic ballad, creating something both powerful and magical. Even Dana's singing voice has this airy quality that makes it sound like an angelic forest spirit creature thing. I know this isn't a popular song. I know this wouldn't be a number one for everyone, but I personally think it's DreamWorks' best musical achievement and an underappreciated part of Shrek cinema itself even. So yeah, what does everyone think of It Is You I Have Loved? Kabuga. Oh yes, that one was amazing during Fiona's transformation scene. Yeah, that the sting you hear that's like a flute, like da, da, da. I can't even, I'm so bad at humming things, but like that flute kind of like sting you hear quite a lot in Shrek, particularly when Fiona has like a sensitive moment. That's part of the song that was made for the end credits. Like they sample it from that song. Evan J. Sims, Danny Glover has a daughter named after him. I don't know if they're related. Kirst, I don't know this one. Well, now you do. Raj, I remember this song now. I believe it plays during the end credits. It does. It does play by the end credits. Nick, I actually had no idea that that's what this song was called. It really is a beautiful tune that goes well with the romance between Shrek and Fiona. Yeah. And it just goes with the identity of Shrek in general, because not just because Shrek and Fiona's love is a huge part of the franchise, but also because, like I said, that the flute sampling throughout these films, you associate immediately with Shrek. Because I think they even sampled the flute during the like Dreamworks logo. Like, it's that big, it's that connected with Shrek. Give me a guy. This song is what makes the Shrek movie's identity. Yes, it is one of the main motives from these films. There is a variation around in every Shrek film, if I recall. There is, yeah. I really, because the thing is, if you played that flute intro to someone, they'd go, "Oh, Shrek." But if you played the full song, they'd be like, "What's this?" So I really would love if people kind of like listen to the full songs as a whole, beyond its signature like flute intro. It's absolutely amazing. And such a like I said last week with my top 5 Pixar songs, I think it's so important to pick carefully for your end credit song. I feel like this one's a really good example of that. Really good. Because it really fits the mood you feel afterwards, because it's such a romantic film. Dom, I might have to hear the song because I don't remember it. Computer Guy's very vocal about this song. I love it. Computer Guy, yes, and it's also DreamWorks' identity now that you mention it. Yes, yeah, that's another reason I put it my number one, is because when you hear this song, you think DreamWorks. Just like how When You Wish Upon a Star is Disney's. Absolutely, yes. Computer, now that you mention it, misplaced comma. Just correcting yourself, okay. So yeah, any other thoughts on this song? Any other thoughts at all? If you've not heard it before, don't worry about it. I definitely encourage you to give it a listen. Especially, I'd say the best way to listen to it is to watch the film and let it play during the credits, because that's the best way to experience it, I think. Because you go through the entire Shrek Fiona story, and then you hear that song just hits you more. Evan, does When You Wish Upon a Star play during the Disney logo? I think it does, actually, yeah. I think it does. Like an orchestral version of it plays during the company logo, not the Disney Animation Studio logo. Listen, it's a nice song. Definitely makes me think of Shrek more than All Star. Yeah, I do agree. Because when I think of All Star, I also think of Mystery Man and other things and the internet memes. But like with It Is You I Have Loved, it's not really been used for anything else. So you can find it a lot easier to associate with Shrek, I think. So yeah, good point. But I have a friend who's a music journalist, and she ended up on Facebook. She ended up posting a whole rant about how much she hates the All Star lyrics. It's one of the funniest. She's really funny, but like when she was doing this whole rant, I was like bursting out. She was going through every single line about how stupid the song is. Hero Guy, very good choice for number one. I would have never thought about it. I thought it should be my number one straight away, as soon as I did it. And when I said that I want this to be my wedding song if I ever get married, I mean that. I honestly mean that. I've sometimes fantasized that. When I hear the song, that's what I have in my head. I really do. Nick, I'd say my favourite DreamWorks song is a toss-up between The Plagues and Playing with the Big Boy, since The Prince of Egypt is my favourite movie from DreamWorks. I can't decide which I like more, but they're definitely the most iconic ones. I guess we're moving on to what's everyone's number one favourite DreamWorks song? Let me know in the chat, and let me know why. I always like to learn why it's your favourite. Spill your guts, let your heart out. Let me know what's your favourite DreamWorks song and why. Because my favourite Dreamworks song is Together from Afar from How to Train Your Dragon 3. It carries the themes of the film brilliant through its bittersweet lyrics and the ethereal voice of Yunzi. And when it plays during the credits, I almost teared up when the song played over the past moments of Toothless and Hiccup. Yes, that song got very close to being my top 5. Very, very. This was definitely one of the hardest top 5s I've done for Twitch. It really was. I was spending ages trying to narrow it down because there's so many good contenders. So many good contenders. Yeah, there really are. Don, when do you play the song When You Get Married? I would be happy for you. Oh, thank you. Well, if I ever do get married, then I'm probably gonna film it. Nick, sorry if anybody had anything to say about It Is You I've Loved. I think people are done with that song by then. I think everything needed to be said was said. Listy, mine would be Deliver Us, but the Hebrew version especially, if you can find it, give it a listen. Yes, I do want to listen to the Hebrew versions of these songs. Evan, possibly Shine Your Way from The Crude, since I love Our City. Yeah, I do like that song. I really do. That was another song I was like, ooh, maybe that'll end up in my top 5. But it didn't. Computer Guy, The Plagues, and the French version also blew me away. That's Jim Carrey's official voice actor as Moses. He also played Simba in The Lion King, and I'm always impressed at how impressive and powerful his voice is. I love stuff like that. I actually go onto like sites to see, okay, who specializes in the foreign language versions of Disney characters and which Disney characters have they done. It's really fascinating to see who specializes in doing what. I really like that. So the guy who does... So when you say Jim Carrey's official voice actor, do you mean like anything at all that Jim Carrey does, both live action and animated, he does the voices for? So he also plays Simba in The Lion King and Moses, which is that's interesting because like those aren't very Jim Carrey kind of personas. Don, my favorite song was Deliver Us because it broke my heart when I saw the Hebrews being enslaved and crying, which I can relate to as a black hero Hebrew descent. Oh wow. Now I can understand how that speaks to you. Yeah, I'm a descendant of Scandinavian heritage, so a lot of the songs in How to Train Your Dragon definitely spoke to me on that level. Yes, he dubs Jim Carrey in all his movies. Whoa, cool. I really find that really fascinating. Nick, I also really love the score that plays during the scene where Moses comes across the burning bush. It's a very emotional, triumphant tune that makes my heart beat really fast whenever I hear it. Oh, that's lovely. Because I still can't believe they got Tenacious D to do a cover of I Think I Love You for the Croods. What? For the Croods 2? Tenacious D are involved with the Croods 2? I want to say Croods 2 now. I love Tenacious D. Love Tenacious D so much. They're great. I remember... So, for a few years, as a teenager, I went to... There's an alarm outside now. I went to a movie making camp. I went to a filmmaking camp, yes. This one time, a filmmaking camp. I have so many stories for filmmaking camp, but one project we did was like this really weird version of Robin Hood. It's like a Robin Hood comedy. And for one scene by campfire, Robin just sings the whole of Tribute by Tenacious D. Because the actor we got to play Robin Hood knew the whole song, so he just stands in front of a campfire doing the whole song. Everyone else at the filmmaking camp made like 5-10 minute shorts, and we were like, we're making a 25-minute epic with a Tenacious D cover. But yeah, I have a lot of filmmaking camp stories. I could do a whole video on them. There's some of my weirdest life stories come from that camp. So many weird stories. Don't believe the songs in Shark Tale are not good, they're bland. Oh, they went... The cover songs are alright, but like anything that's original is kind of like... not great. Computer Guy, Emmanuel Curdell, if you're wondering. Okay, definitely keep that in mind. And just checked, and no, it isn't him singing. Impressive since the voice is so similar. The one singing Moses' part is Oliver Constantine, Jack Skellington's voice. The more I know. Ooh, interesting. You know what, I could actually imagine Danny Elfman singing in that song. I could, so yeah. Good choice. Okay, yeah, so anyone else want to tell their number one favourite Dreamworks song before I head off? Anyone at all? And for anyone wondering, this week's live quiz is going to be on the 2010s Disney animated films. So technically, I think it's called the Second Renaissance. Nick, this was actually a tough thing for me to decide on, since most of the Dreamworks songs were jukebox choices. It's hard to tell whenever they make an original song or a cover song. That was my hardest thing. I spent ages trying to work out whether some songs were original or not. Because sometimes what they'll do is, if they have a pop star in the voice cast, they'll get that pop star to make original songs for the film as well as do the voice. Examples would be like Rihanna for Home. There's a lot of original Rihanna songs for Home, just put in there. And will.i.am. There's loads of will.i.am original songs in Madagascar too, even though he's also doing Mudo's voice. And then Snoop Dogg did an official kind of like tie-in song for Turbo, because he did the voice of Smooth Move. So yeah. Warrigal, for next week's quiz, could you do the 2000s cartoons? Well, the thing is, Warrior, like I just said, I'm doing the 2010s Disney animated films. I did the 2000s last week, and I don't decide what the quiz topics are. They're done through a poll. I can only nominate things. Kuga, I really like Ant's main theme too. I think that was I Can See Clearly Now. Was that a cover of I Can See Clearly Now? Don't believe Shine Bright Like a Diamond by Rihanna. I don't know if that was actually in Home. I didn't see it on the soundtrack listing. I think it was in the trail. I can't remember. I really can't remember, sorry. Kuga, it really conveys the feeling of an house, I don't know how to say it in that English, full of life and movement and everywhere. Ant House. Okay, folks. Raj, my favourite would have to be the travelling song from Madagascar 2. will.i.am singing is very soothing, and the reprise kicks when Alex and his dad dance together. I think the only will.i.am song that stuck in my head after I listened to the Madagascar 2 soundtrack was Big and Chunky. That's it. All the others kind of faded. Nick, it's like with the Shrek, where the pre-existing songs are generally associated with the movies, making it seem like that's where they originally came from. Yeah, which is both kind of charming in a way, but also kind of like, oh dear, I think the original artist should definitely get more credit. The song's called The Colony. I don't think I listened to that one. Don, Move It and Afro Circus were my favourite. But yeah, I really have to head off now, folks. I've got to carry on with my animated Nickelodeon movies marathon. Yes, that is my next top 5. Raj, yeah, Big and Chunky is rather catchy. It really is. But yeah, hope you're all well. Hope you enjoyed the stream. That's my main concern as always. Hope you're entertained. Hope you're happy. Hope you're well. Hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is for you.